You know how everyone was completely engrossed in Harry and Meghan's escape from the palace, like it was a fairy tale. So hold on tight, because Tyler Perry is right in the middle of a far messier story. It all began so well, doesn't it? When Harry and Meghan courageously leave the royal life in search of privacy and independence, millionaire media tycoon Tyler Perry steps in to act as a kind protector. He essentially becomes their Hollywood godfather by lending them his private jet and a mansion to live in. Meghan, however, raved about him and referred to him as her support during their lowest point. The world devoured the story because it was so wonderful. This is where things start to get interesting, though. After a little while, Tyler Perry's name is abruptly removed from the Sussex's narrative. Oh, gone. Poof. Photos are preserved and removed from press mentions. Uncle Tyler was quietly removed off even the Wikipedia page for tiny leet. He seemed to have never been there. What provides? According to reports, Tyler Perry Studios was struck with a significant lawsuit at that time. Approximately $260 million was spent accusing him of fostering a poisonous work environment. The whole 9 yards, intimidation, bullying, etc. Furthermore, controversy is essentially Hollywood's kryptonite. Ever watchful, Meghan's public relations staff went into overdrive and cut off all contact with Perry before you could say damage control. At this point, the narrative shifts from a fairy tale to a possible theft. The invitation to stay at Tyler Perry's estate in Beverly Hills turned out to be more than a kind gesture. It was accompanied by actual legal documentation. A clause that is currently causing a lot of turmoil was hidden deep within the residence agreement. This clause essentially stated that the non-breaching party is free to reveal context in order to preserve their reputation if either side publicly denies the other. Translation: Tyler Perry has the legal right to reveal the truth if Meghan attempts to obliterate their past. No cryptic tweets, no NDAs, just the plain facts. And that's where the secret tapes come in, my friend. Tyler Perry, it seems, is a careful documentarian. He retains every single message, picture, and phone conversation that is smeared with tears. Additionally, as a filmmaker, he continues to shoot even when no one else is looking. He therefore possesses drafts, notes, recordings, and even behind-the-scenes preparing documents from their notorious Oprah appearance. He is aware of the spin, the strategy, and the true tale. That provision was activated when Meghan's crew began removing Perry from their story. All of a sudden, Tyler Perry was legally allowed to tell everyone what he knew. But he didn't go nuclear right away. He began with a slow burn, a still frame here, a leaked audio clip there, just enough to raise doubts about the Sussex's meticulously crafted story. Despite being only 58 seconds long, the first clip was explosive. Meghan's tone was serene, but they'll say we're manufacturing grief if we overuse the Diana card, he said calculatingly. And Harry's weary voice responds in the background, Netflix doesn't want us crying again. This time, not too much. It broke the idea of spontaneous emotion and was unvarnished and unadulterated. The internet took off. Defenders from Sussex dispersed in the light like bugs. Even major media began publishing headlines like, "Were Meghan and Harry's confessions rehearsed?" As commentators jumped in, Tyler Perry, on the other hand, held all the cards and said nothing. It was panic mode for Meghan. It was the calm before the storm for Perry. It was a complete crisis for Harry. He went into a tailspin after that one clip. He was pacing, yelling at employees, and moaning about being betrayed. In under 48 hours, he was returning to the UK by himself on a private plane. No Meghan, no entourage of the media, just a man fleeing the ruins of a truth-based brand. Or so they said. While soft-focus videos of Meghan baking with Archie, meditating, and smiling calmly during garden shoots were all over the internet back in California. Meghan's public relations machine went into overdrive, but no one was interested. The harsh reality of a performance had taken the place of the story of recovery and rebirth. Brands began to move away in silence. A high-end skincare brand stopped talking. Their partnership was canned by a boutique wine business. According to reports, Perry's team was contacted by Spotify, the corporation that had paid millions for her podcast, not for comment, but for confirmation. Chaos reigned inside Meghan's public relations agency. Emergency meetings were convened by consultants. Posting positive content was the directive given to influencers. Overnight preparation of damage control scripts was like applying duct tape to a sinking ship. Tyler Perry said nothing, yet his silence said more than words could. The second drop followed. It was Harry this time, with a stronger tone and a clearer voice. He could be heard pacing in the distance. "We need to guide the dog," he whispered. "We appear false if we are overly polished. However, we come across as manipulative if we overreact to suffering." Meghan's voice answered gently off camera. The scenes in the garden are then shown, real, grounded and calm. Nothing overly sentimental until the third act. Their empire was destroyed by that one line. The appearance of genuineness vanished. When Oprah interview snippets were played back alongside the leaked tape, the contrast between what the public had assumed to be genuine and unplanned was devastating. All of a sudden, every pause, tear, and sigh appeared practiced. They were marketing it instead of speaking the truth. It was the decade's largest PR disaster. Even famous people who had previously stood up for Meghan said nothing. The media machine itself, overnight, the thing she had made turned against her. Tyler Perry is still silent. Now his quiet was like thunder. Well, the story of Sussex was falling apart by now. Their biggest asset, the compassion of the media, was rapidly evaporating. Publicists started muttering what was already common knowledge. The royal rebels were now liabilities in Hollywood. They were reportedly deemed too risky for rebranding by a prominent streaming executive. Their largest supporter, Netflix, even started looking into internal legal reviews because of the disclosures. At the same time, Tyler Perry's standing was improving once more. Studios that had turned away from him throughout his lawsuit were coming full circle. The very controversy that attempted to discredit him gave Elsons a chance to restore his reputation. He wasn't letting loose mayhem. He was putting things in perspective by describing how he had defended two royals just to have their stories cut out. He never desired retribution, according to insiders. He desired to be treated with dignity and to have the record that had depicted him as a prop in their play rectified. The irony is that Perry grew more dominant and Harry became more unstable the longer he remained silent. It didn't make him pleased. He desired not just to be associated with Harry and Meghan, but also to be recognized for his own accomplishments. Harry reportedly broke down after hearing the second footage, according to one insider. It was over, he knew. Not only the fight for public relations, but everything. He apparently made a couple of low-key calls. Charles's office, not his US advisors or public relations departments. Nothing official, just feelings, a method of expressing that I'm not okay. He then got on a private jet and made his covert way back to the UK. No security convoy, no entourage, simply just Harry. The fugitive prince wasn't fleeing the royals for the first time in years. He was rushing to them again. Weeks went by in which everyone concerned remained silent until the next incident occurred. It wasn't a devastating audio recording or another video leak. 3 weeks after Harry and Meghan moved into Perry's estate, a signed statement was found. It served as a tangible roadmap for their well-planned truth campaign, outlining their entire exit strategy, PR objectives, and rebrand structure. Additionally, there are 2 autographs at the bottom of the page. Firmly established the illusion by staring back at the world. It was that document that set things off. It demonstrated their post-royal path. From the Oprah interview to the Netflix arrangement, the positioning was prearranged rather than honest. It was dubbed the death of authenticity by commentators. It was called a royal collapse by brand gurus. Tyler Perry didn't have to speak. That one page did the talking for him. He had not been a footnote, and the world now knew it. He was the one who designed it. Additionally, Meghan attempted to remove he had destroyed her fairy tale's basic core. The narrative refuses to go away like a festering wound. Once heralded as Meghan's savior, Tyler Perry stands tall, composed, and seemingly unconcerned. He's neither vindictive nor outraged, having just been cut from a tale he co-wrote. Meghan, on the other hand, is struggling to keep her empire from collapsing. The debut of her new lifestyle brand was a huge failure. Comment parts turned into battlefields. Her pitches were rejected, even by periodicals that were renowned for their gentle treatment. It feels like everything she touches turns to ash. Harry, however, is unique. Calmer, more introspective and detached. The man who once sacrificed all for love now appears to have realized that he was never truly free. He was only able to manage. The spectre of what might have been haunts him, and he is lost in a cloud of sorrow. At the Paley Centre event, his countenance, which was once carved with defiant excitement, is now marked with fatigue. Irony was nearly intolerable. Tyler Perry was acknowledged for his contributions to television, I see now. Meghan, who used to cling to him like a lifeline, had to take center stage, even for a brief while, by holding him close and acting as though she was enjoying his glow. They remained the closest of pals. It was an act of desperation, a weak attempt to change history in the moment. However, the crowd, the camera, and, most importantly, Tyler Perry saw right through it. He smiled politely and gave a quick hug, but his eyes were guarded and far away. He was aware of the reality, and he also knew that everyone else was beginning to realize it. The story of the strong, self-reliant woman, fearlessly paving her own way, had faded into a staged act. At last, the world got a look of the meticulously written screenplay, the rehearsals, and the strings, and they weren't pleased. There was more to Harry's abrupt return to the UK than just panic. It was a realization that the fairy tale was still in progress and had finally become a screenplay. He hadn't noticed the trap being laid, since he was so engrossed in the performance and so naive by the prospect of freedom. They believed they had outwitted the palace, changed the regulations, and crafted their own happy ending. However, their story wasn't broken by royalty in the end. They were receipts. The receipts of Tyler Perry. Additionally, those receipts revealed a reality that was far more complicated and harmful than anyone could have predicted. Now that he has the pen in his hand, he is prepared to write the next chapter. And everyone is anticipating what he will disclose.